Welcome. Thank you all for joining us today to kind of hear a little bit about Discover Wellness, and it's our worksite wellness program here on campus. So hopefully you'll be able to take a little bit of information about what worksite wellness is here and what it looks like at SUNY Oswego, and possibly express hopefully some interest in our spring 2020 cohort. So today I'm Elizabeth Kita. We have Amy Bidwell, Whitney Kemps, and Nancy Concadora here as well. So this is a little overview of what the session is going to look like today. It's going to be a very brief amount of us talking at you. It's going to hopefully be more of you asking some questions about the program and any little information that you want to know regarding, what this spring is going to look like for the program on campus. So I'll start talking and giving you a little bit of background on the program, and then Whitney will chat with you about what the program sessions look like. Amy will talk about the wellness coaching aspect, and then Nancy will talk about a personal experience, how this all played out for her this past fall, and then we'll open the floor for questions from everyone. So to give you a little bit of background, we know that SUNY Oswego is moving towards a health culture on campus and this wellness culture, and it's been pretty successful. We have a ton of programs for students. We have, starting to kind of scratch the surface for employees and so on, but we want to make it more. We want to make it bigger. We know that employees are, the building blocks to our campus, and we want to make sure that they are well and taken care of. So back in the fall of 2018, we conducted a needs assessment. And when I say definitely, it wasn't just me, it was myself and a research team of students. And we implemented a survey and got 197 responses from that survey. Now, I'm not going to go through the numbers with you and spend all of that time kind of chatting about these graphs and tables, but overall, we found that employees wanted some type of wellness programming, and they want wellness programming that is strictly theirs. So there's no students who are, working out on the treadmill next to them, or, stretching on a yoga mat in the gym next to them. So they want something that's their own entity. So we started implementing these individual wellness sessions here and there, just to gauge, if employees that attended the sessions, enjoyed it, if this was something that, we could make a little bit bigger and a bit more sustainable. So from about fall 2018 to the spring of 2020, we implemented 14 different wellness sessions. We had 53 participants sessions. So we had a good number. And during those sessions, we collected some feedback, some formative evaluation regarding, the participants' thoughts on how the program went and what more they would want from it. And some feedback that we got from the evaluations were that employees really enjoyed it. They liked coming to the sessions. That really was great for building this camaraderie amongst each other. But they were so sporadic. We had some in the morning, some in the afternoon, during lunchtime, and then some in the evening. They were so all over the place. It was really hard for everyone to plan their schedules around these sessions and make sure they could hit all the different ones. So what we did this past summer, so summer 2020, we made some really good use of our quarantine time, and we created the program as a cohort model, so a 7-week virtual program of all these wellness sessions to implement this past fall, which we did. So what does that all look like? What does this 7-week model look like? To right here. So we have this, sorry, you guys are covering up my screen a little bit here. So this is a 7-week session, and it's going to be the same individuals attending the sessions over the course of the 7 weeks. So prior to starting the program, there will be a pre-survey, very brief. The sessions are on Mondays, And then during the sessions on Mondays, there's a 10-minute mini lecture and then a 45-minute activity that really reinforces the content learned in the first 10 minutes of the session. So it's something that you're doing, something hands-on. And then from Tuesday to Thursday is the time where we implement the behavior change technique. So you kind of go off on your own and, you know, see how it works in your daily routines. And then on Friday, there's a 60-minute group wellness coaching session with a certified wellness coach. And then after the 7 weeks, there's again, a brief post survey just so we can kind of track some data here. So that's the general structure of the program. So I'm going to back up just a touch here to talk about, you know, a little bit more about the findings from this initial needs assessment that we conducted back in the fall of 2018. Not only did we see that participants wanted, you know, some employees wanted some wellness programming, but we found that they wanted wellness programming really related to 4 areas: sleep, physical activity, nutrition, and stress management. So these sessions that we have been implementing are really focusing on those 4 areas. The overall mission of Discover Wellness is here. I'm not going to read it to you, but here's our mission and our vision. But ideally, our goal is to offer these opportunities to practice health, you know, practice wellness in your own life. So give you this knowledge, give you this behavior that you can then just try out, see how it works for you. Maybe you like it, great, and either adopt it or adapt it to make it your own, or you say, nope, this isn't for me, and then we'll try something new the next week. So it's just this process of practicing and trying it. So giving you the awareness, knowledge, and skills to really improve your quality of life. So now I'm going to have Whitney's going to chat to you a little bit about what a typical session looks like.
Hi, thank you so much, Dr. Kita. And so I had the great opportunity to actually open up the sessions. And so I taught the first one. And then from there, I was able to teach for the session. So I had a great opportunity with participants. So the beginning of each session is kind of like that welcome chat. I always like to know where everybody's coming in from. I want them to feel comfortable. It's a very open environment. And also I want to be mindful of my participants and them to be mindful of me. So I want to be in the situation right there. I always like to start with an open-ended question that is trying to get to those positive emotions, trying to get away from the negative emotions. So starting out really positive, and that way we can have a great class. So I always do that. And I always try to get a laugh in because I think that's really, really important to do with my participants. And then from there, this is where I go into the main content. So it was about 8 to 10 minutes approximately. I go over the purpose of the session, the major takeaways, and then also why the topic is extremely important. And all of the topics are really focused on and looking at some type of dimension from the wellness. So one of those dimensions of wellness is looking at it. The guided activity, to me, is the best part of the lesson. I love doing the guided activities. It's so great because what you're doing is the participants are actually able to use the information that they just learned and put it into practice. It's so great because it's like an aha moment for individuals. I think the one that really sticks out to me right now, and I'll share it with you guys, it's when I did the nutrition facts label and I had a participant looking at sodium, and she did not realize how much sodium she was consuming. And she actually had a reason to look at sodium. You know, she was a high risk of heart disease, stroke. And so she was way over consuming her sodium intake and she had no idea until that lesson. So it was like an aha moment, but it was also so great because I felt like I just, you know, I gave somebody that information and now they can apply that and put it into practice in their own lives. So it was great. And then after we do the guided activity, this is basically just a recap and also where participants can ask questions. I always ask who would like to share or what are your thoughts, anything that you would like to say. It's a great time to just kind of get the feedback, especially if we want to try to change anything for the lesson for maybe the following semester or even just for the following week to see if they want something more. Also, too, this is the time where I always mentioned Dr. Bidwell. She does the coaching sessions on Friday. So I always mention that just to make sure that they're keeping an eye out for their calendars on Friday. So my sessions were always on Monday, and I always want to make sure I touched base on that to make sure that they would join with Dr. Bidwell to get the great information. And then just as Dr. Kita said, after that, the session on Monday, this is a time when they can really put it into practice. They can use everything that they've learned Tuesday through Thursday and trying to make some type of behavior change within their life. Maybe it was sleep. I'll tell you what, mine is sleep and I still struggle. I'll get there, I will. But it's just a great opportunity. And I had a really, really great experience with my participants in that. And then I will go over here and kind of give you like a brief overview of this is our flyer that's created. And so it goes through each thing. So I'll just kind of break it down for you guys. Offered to SUNY Oswego employees. The thing that I really, really want to highlight is it's virtual. This is great, right? We're all still probably working from home or a different atmosphere. It's virtual. The time is tentative yet. We have not decided it. And so that is still open, but it's going to be every Monday for 7 weeks. And the awesome thing is you're actually going to be getting a free wellness incentive each week. So it's going to really promote that positive behavior change with the lesson that you just learned. So hopefully it will be a nice reminder and also help you with your session that you learned about. For the essential oil, that they were able to use that essential oil for that specific one. So that was a great thing. For more information, please reach out to Dr. Kita. Her email address is listed below. I think it is cut off right now, but I'm sure everybody does have her email address there. So please reach out to her.
Sorry.
Nope, no problem. So the informational session is going to be open on February 19th, which is a Friday. And then after that, each session will follow on those Mondays. We do touch on stress, sleep, nutrition, and also physical activity. These are all great things. And, you know, it's kind of like an aha after each of the lessons, because believe it or not, they all tie in together. So your sleep, your nutrition, your stress, it all works together. So it's such a great thing. And I really love the portion distortion lesson. It's actually one of my favorite lessons to do. Always comfortable clothing is suggested. We are not running, jumping, you know, I'm not gonna have you guys do your pulse or anything crazy like that. So no special attire for that. And I also did want to make sure we have a site, and the site has some great information on there. So at this time, it's going to be in the chat box for the site where you can go to, and there's some more information if you would like about each of the sessions. So that is going to be.
I would love to do that for you, but I don't know how to do it while I'm in share mode. So I will do it at the end when we're doing questions.
Okay.
So I'll pop that in for you. I apologize. I just know if I go out of it now, we probably won't return.
It's no problem. It's no problem. And so let's see, is there anything that I'm missing here? Yeah, so the time is still tentative. I just did want to mention that. And I would love to see many of your faces. I do love teaching. It's something that I really do enjoy. So yeah, I'm open for questions at the end if you have any.
Thanks, Whitney. Amy, can you chat a little bit about the wellness coaching on Fridays, please?
Sure. And I was just thinking, Elizabeth, if you want to text me the link, I can pop it in the chat for you because I can see the chat without you getting out. So if you want to do that, I'll pop it in. I just don't want to send it. I don't want to pop in the wrong link. Anyway, so yeah, thank you. You guys did a great job talking about the program thus far. So my part in this really was just as Whitney had mentioned, I was a coach that formed these kind of collaborative discussions that we had on Fridays, which I absolutely loved because I always came out like, you know, Whitney had mentioned those aha moments. I just had those, like, I would walk out and it was like, I felt so good just chatting. But we were chatting about the conversations that Whitney and others had presented on that Monday. So it might have been one day, I think, was journaling. The portion distortion created a big conversation, the physical activity. But as Whitney had mentioned, they all tied in together. And so what happened is that each week we would have these discussions, and it was like we could have been talking about something they did 3 weeks ago, but yeah, it still pertained to what they had just done. And so it was a great opportunity. We met, I believe it was at noon on Fridays for 50 minutes. Usually I would get a text from Elizabeth saying, okay, stop talking, it's time is up. And so what we did is we really talked about part of wellness coaching, first of all, really is kind of 5 components. There's motivational interviewing, positive psychology, goal setting, supportive environment, and happiness and well-being. And so what we did is and I say we because it was really the whole group that was there. And what we found is, at least from what Elizabeth told me, is that sometimes even if somebody couldn't attend the Monday session, they still did the coaching session or vice versa. And even if they weren't able to practice what they learned throughout the week, they still attended the coaching session, which I really, really enjoyed. And I remember that first coaching session, I believe, was about journaling, or that first week. And some of them were really nervous to attend that coaching session because they hadn't had a chance to journal yet. And they thought I was going to yell at them. And I'm like, I wasn't even sure you were supposed to journal until 3 minutes ago. So it's not really like about that. But what it is, I have an opportunity to ask questions. So a lot of it is me saying, asking a particular open-ended question that would start the discussion. So I was really just there facilitating it. But I used the kind of strategies of positivity or positive psychology. So instead of that individual that came to that first session and they were concerned that they didn't do their journal, it was immediately turned around to, I'm so happy to see you here today to have this discussion with us. Not that you didn't do your journal today, okay? Because that's not what it's about. And so what hopefully happened over the course of the 7 weeks is the individuals that attended were able to incorporate the positive psychology into their own life. So instead of saying, oh, I ate really bad today, or I didn't follow the guidelines that Whitney told me about with sodium, it was, okay, today happened. What can I do tomorrow positively to reinforce the information that I learned on Monday? So the coaching sessions aren't a way for me. It's, I'm not that person or that doctor that is saying, oh, well, you gained a pound this week or something like that. It's not about that at all. It's just an open session where we really focus on setting some new goals for yourself. That's something I'd like to incorporate a bit more, being positive, and then that social support. And as far as Discover Wellness, I think what it brought, from at least my perspective, and Nancy may say otherwise, I hope not, but basically the group camaraderie was huge. And some of us are still meeting afterwards. Learning from others, I can't tell you how many times people were popping stuff in the chat boxes and sharing ideas, either it be new authors, new recipes, new ways to manage time, whatever it was, we were learning from each other. Again, it wasn't me teaching anything. I was just sitting there facilitating a discussion. It really gave a sense of belonging. I'll never forget, I think actually it was Nancy who had said the last session, she said, oh, I didn't even know it was the last session. Like, I had it on my calendar. And so people just kind of made it this thing that they did on Fridays at noon. And we always started each session with celebrating successes. So it was, okay, tell me one good thing that happened this week. And it's funny because when I always start the conversation with that, everyone, it's like a deer in headlights. They're like, nothing happened. That was good. Nothing at all. It was all bad. Well, come on, seriously, like it was really all bad? No, I don't think so. And so after giving them some time to really think about it and reflect on their week, they were able to find the positive things that happen, the successes, and then we take those successes and build off of them. And so it's a very positive, welcoming environment. And I'm really just there to facilitate, to help reinforce. I didn't really even reinforce the material because 90% of the time I didn't even know what the material was till right before. But it wasn't about that. That's not what coaching is about. The people that attended knew the content, but it was more how you handled the new behavior change and if you were kind of making progress each day. So anyways, that's what I had. It was an amazing experience for myself. It was, again, one of those things that at 1 o'clock on Fridays, it was like, I feel really good. Like, I don't know why, but I feel really good. And I was just like, again, it was just, I was just facilitating it and I got that much out of it. I don't know if the other people did, but I sure the heck felt good for an hour. So, and I think Nancy's next. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Amy. Good morning, everyone. It's funny that you had touched on that word camaraderie, because when I was asked to share my thoughts on the program and I reflected, the 4 words that came to mind was comprehensive, camaraderie, connection, and sharing. And while we were all, and still are, we're dealing with endless Zoom meetings and online classes and teaching and coursework, et cetera, these meetings and these sessions never felt like one more Zoom meeting. They were a welcome relief for everyone in the group. It was a safe zone. We all were comfortable with each other. Most of us shared some pretty deep thoughts, feelings, experiences, things that we had been through. And I think I could speak for mostly everyone in the group. We always felt safe. The topics that we hit on really encompassed all areas of wellness. It was mind, body, and soul. It was a comprehensive approach. The facilitators were fabulous. Whitney was terrific. Her presentations were thorough. Some of us were more versed in wellness than others, but yet you learn something every session regardless. The accountability, as Amy mentioned, it wasn't like we had homework. If we got to the topic and task at hand that week, it was fine. If we didn't, it was fine. But it truly was just a welcome relief. We learned from Dr. Kita, Dr. Bidwell, we learned from Whitney, we learned from the other students who were presenting topics in their area. The sessions where we actually got out of our chair and did some exercise, which was low key, low impact, it worked. We actually finally got up for a few minutes that day and used the tools. Also, which was very helpful as a participant, we got goodie bags, and each week we had something that related to the topic at hand, whether it was an information leaflet, Whitney mentioned essential oils, the journal, stretch bands. It really just coincided with the topics, and we had something tangible to touch. People like stuff and they like to touch, and the facilitators really put a lot of thought into what was in that goodie bag to tie into the topic each week. I strongly recommend this program to anyone interested. It's like I said, a welcome relief. There's always something to learn. Mondays and Fridays, when the session was over, you had renewed energy, you felt better about whatever it is we were talking about. It was nice just to see each other and share and enjoy each other's company. So for anybody on the call here or listening in at another time, I highly recommend this program and participation in it. You won't be disappointed.
Thanks so much, Nancy. It's so helpful to kind of have you kind of recap everything and really kind of give your point of view. And, we've really kind of, my research team of students really has put their heart and soul into this. And so to see that it's been so successful and at least touched, one person here, it's really, really nice to hear. So thank you. Let's see if it lets me move forward here. All right, so now we're just going to kind of open the floor to questions. If anyone has any specific questions for any of us, go ahead. Or if it's just a general question, please feel free to ask. You can use the chat function, or even better, unmute yourself. Amy, thank you for putting that in the chat. I appreciate it.
No problem. See, it wasn't so hard.
Now, if I could do it, since I am not sharing my screen anymore. Maybe.
Dr. Kita, if it's okay, I would like to share one thing just to kind of, hit home a little bit. Each week that I presented to, it was like I had a connection with the participants, and it was almost like we had this like a sense of family. I mean, we opened up about some serious topics that maybe were going on in our life. There was tears, real tears that came from my eyes from sessions. But it was such a great experience, and the connection was just amazing with the participants that we had.
It was like a group therapy session each Monday and Friday. You really left the session feeling renewed, realizing that we are all in this together. Everybody in the group came from different areas across campus. We all had different roles and experiences, but we also realized we were all going through some of the same issues, concerns, disconnect. Some people dealing with little children, some people, 8 people in one home trying to work through the remote situation. But it really was beneficial. And I know I speak for probably almost everyone who was in the program, that we left Monday and Friday sessions feeling much better than when we came in.
So we just had a question in the chat that asked, what time would the sessions be? We don't have a set time yet. In the fall, they were from 1 to 1:50. So yes, they're during the workday. So we try to fit them in around lunchtime. So I'm assuming we might try to do a similar time this coming spring. I was going to wait until we had a list of participants and then send out a doodle poll to just get a time frame that would work best for everyone. It wouldn't be first thing in the morning, but either late morning or afternoon time. Lizette, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, it sounds like a really interesting program. Thank you so much for the information. I'm interested in signing up for it.
I'm excited. I'll put you on the list. Actually, I'll send a kind of a follow-up email to everyone in attendance. So if you are interested in continuing on, I'll have a more formal piece to continue with us. Great. Thank you. Lizette.
I have a question. Have you ever thought about recording sessions? This semester I have more time, but I'm an adjunct who works at 3 schools, and I think adjuncts really could use something like this, but often we have problems like fitting it in. I don't know.
Yeah, we have considered that. The only problem with the recording is, as Nancy and Whitney both stated, we want to make sure it's a safe space. So recording any of the information, we're a little bit apprehensive about, just because I don't want individuals to kind of hold back if they're worried about it being released and beyond just our normal, our normal group where they feel safe. So it's something we can talk about. I can speak about a bit with the participants to see if that's something they would want to do. But then again, I'm still a little bit apprehensive. I want to make sure everyone is at ease, is calm, and is really, comfortable with how the material is being used. I mean, I would love to record it, help me for, data collection and analyses and so on. But
yeah, I like
on a coaching session, Amy.
Rebecca just popped in the chat about maybe recording mini lectures, the mini lectures. I definitely know that the coaching sessions, we wouldn't, just because we do have some interesting conversations. I'd be worried about my own self.
Yeah, I have an idea. What if we recorded the information, Dr. Kita, and if there was no participants, and it was sessions that we recorded, and that way individuals could listen to them at a later time?
Absolutely. And Whitney, you're already a pro at this with your own YouTube channel and so on, so yeah, I mean, we could put something like that together, maybe a Discover Wellness YouTube channel that has the the pieces on here.
Oh, don't worry. You guys are next, Dr. Bidwell and Dr. Kita. So
Hey, I know how to use YouTube, and I actually have my own channel. You have to work on Dr. Kita. 'cause
oh, I actually joined your channel in the summer. So didn't you see I'm a participant in your channel?
I noticed it's been pretty mute since the summer. But Zoe asked, will there be another cohort in the summer when it might be easier to schedule, especially for adjuncts and such? Question or comments on that?
And I can't even think about next week. Yes, no, we're hopefully we'll get some more cohorts. I'm planning on 2 this spring. 1 in the summer would be wonderful if there's a call for it, and just absolutely.
So I have a question. I signed up for the fall group, but I missed that first meeting, and then it seemed like I was locked out the rest of the. I emailed asking about how to get the link and to join for the next session, and it didn't happen. I was just so busy with trying to get faculty all online that I was doing 10-hour days, they were crazy. So sometimes, things come, especially when you're in tech, right? People want you. So you might have that time blocked out, but you can't go. So I just wanted to make sure, I really want to do this. I really wanted to do it in the fall, that I would be able to, if I missed 1 week, I could still participate in the next week.
Oh, absolutely. I can't recall exactly, but I believe we had a full cohort in the fall, and that's maybe why we kind of pushed it off maybe to the spring. I can't exactly recall, but we were at capacity in the fall. We only can accommodate so many employees at a time right now. We're a really small group, and we want to make sure the program is 100% effective before we try to really increase our numbers beyond what we know we can manage. So is your question more, do you need to solidify a time, or do you want to know, can I join this in the spring?
Well, I just want to make sure I am going to join it again. But if I miss, I didn't even look at my emails, right? I was going through picking out the most important things, and the informational meeting was not the top of my list, right? And when I saw it, I had it on my calendar, but it was already gone, right? So I replied to it, and then I'm sure you were overwhelmed too, right? And it just seemed like, it just didn't happen. And it was okay, because I probably didn't have the time to really participate. I just wanted, I want to make sure that I don't fall into that again. So if something should happen,
right, and if there's a
reach out to you or something.
Oh, no. So we do take attendance, but if you have to miss a meeting, one of the sessions, so as Amy mentioned, if you miss a Monday session and you still want to come to Friday, it's okay. This isn't supposed to create more pressure by any means. But yes, we understand, we have life, but ideally we would hope that you would be able to commit to the 7 weeks. Just because we're learning about different things that do tie in together, and we want to give you the full experience. However, if you miss a week, if you have to miss a couple of weeks, that life does get in the way. So we understand that.
Yeah. Well, I have a far better understanding, and I can than I did going into this, because I didn't go to the informational meeting. So I understand. So thank you. I'm glad that you're having this today.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Kathy.
Dr. Kita, we do have a couple questions in the chat box. The first one is, what size cohort are you planning for? I was going to answer it, but I thought you would do it better.
No.
Okay. So we are really anticipating 30 individuals. That would be awesome to get to. So we are hoping that we can get to that. The second question is, when and how would you sign up? You can reach out to Dr. Kita. So Dr. Kita, if you could please put your email address into the chat box, that would be fabulous. And so if you missed the first 5 minutes, it's okay. It was just basically kind of an overview talking about needs assessment and looking at kind of where we got to where we did today. But it's a great program, and you should definitely join.
only took me a half hour to type my own email address in there, but I got it. Yeah, so we're anticipating about 30. I'm hoping to do 2 cohorts of 15. I don't know if it's okay to talk about this yet because it's not official, but we are also linking up with other SUNYs who have expressed interest. So we will also be holding a cohort at one of our neighboring SUNY colleges. So that will give us 3 cohorts in total. Anyone else have any last minute things they want to say or put out there? Well, we know everyone's time is precious these days. So thank you all for attending and your questions and your interest. And we really look forward to seeing you come, what is it, February, end of February is our first session. We'll have a small information session that if you've come to this, you've pretty much heard everything, but it'll give you a little bit of more of a detailed view on what the program is going to look like date-wise and time-wise. But other than that, thank you guys and have a good rest of your CELT sessions.